In the mid-14th century, Europe stood unknowingly at the edge of catastrophe. Cities were crowded, streets were narrow, and hygiene was almost non-existent. People lived closely together, unaware that an invisible enemy was already moving toward them. What followed would become one of the deadliest events in human history, reshaping the world in ways no one could have imagined. The disease that would later be known as the Black Death did not begin in Europe. Its origins are believed to lie in Central Asia, where it spread quietly through trade routes that connected distant civilizations. Merchants traveled across continents carrying silk, spices, and precious goods. But hidden among their cargo was something far more dangerous. Without understanding it, they became carriers of a deadly plague. In 1347, ships arrived at European ports from the east. At first, nothing seemed unusual, but when sailors stepped onto land, many collapsed almost immediately. Their bodies were marked by painful swellings and dark patches on the skin. Panic spread as people realized something was terribly wrong. Within days, entire port cities began to fall silent. The disease moved with terrifying speed. Rats and fleas carried the infection through homes, markets, and churches. Families disappeared overnight, and entire neighborhoods were left abandoned. Doctors had no cures and little understanding of what they were facing. Many turned to prayer while others fled, unknowingly spreading the plague even further. Some believed the plague was a punishment from God, while others searched for someone to blame. Strangers, travelers, and minorities were accused of causing the disease. Laws broke down, violence increased, and trust between people vanished. In many places, death became so common that funerals were no longer possible. By the time the Black Death began to slow, Europe had lost over 25 million lives. Nearly one-third of the population was gone. Towns were emptied, farmland was left untouched, and entire generations disappeared. No war or famine had ever caused destruction on such a scale. The psychological scars would last for centuries. Yet from this devastation, change slowly emerged. With fewer workers available, labor became valuable. Survivors demanded better conditions and higher wages. The rigid feudal system that had dominated medieval life began to weaken, allowing new social structures to form. Cities rebuilt themselves, and economies slowly adapted to a transformed world. Medicine also began to change. Though progress was slow, the Black Death forced people to question old beliefs and search for better explanations. Knowledge grew through experience, observation, and loss. Society itself was reshaped, not by choice, but by necessity. The Black Death was more than a pandemic. It was a turning point in human history, a reminder of how fragile civilization can be and how deeply suffering can alter the course of the future.